Gaffer, looking back at the weekend's game, what have been the main messages you've been trying to get across to the lads over this last couple of days?
Well, I think if you look at the game again, as we have done, nothing really in the game again. I think they've gone 2-0 up, really. They've had one chance in the game. Header just went past the post, then they've had like a free kick. Could have been a foul, but poor goal to concede from us. Then the penalty decision, whether it was outside the box or not. But again, the sort of lead up to it, we've got to be better at. So within that, we're 2-0 down, but could easily have been 2 up, 3 up. With the chances we had, one off the line, keeper's pulled off a couple of good saves. Should definitely score, one of them chances. So that's one part of the game, I think. And I think when that second goal goes in, we kind of have kind of a bit of a rally for 5-10 minutes. But then I think for half an hour, I thought we were really, really poor in terms of probably the worst I've seen us since I've been here for that half an hour. Whether we gave up or whether we just mentally went, we just lost all kind of structure within the team. We went chasing in areas when and they start overlaying and stuff, and it gets really frustrating from there. They obviously, their confidence went up from the goals, and then we're attacking and they score a goal. And it looks they had a bit of a battering, losing 3-0 when really in the game there's not many chances. If anyone, we had probably had the best chances in the whole game. If you look at their goals kind of in general. So I know how important the fine details are in games. When games we've won, we've scored the first goal. I think that's massive in the league, 60-70%, I think it is. Whoever scores the first goal goes on to win it or not lose, essentially, which is really high. So when we've done that, we've gone on and won games of football. Obviously, we're quite fragile away from home. That was massively evident on Saturday. But I was really disappointed in that last half an hour, and I think the lads know that. We don't. That's unacceptable, really, in terms of regardless of the result, regardless of how the game's kind of going. There might be opportunities to get back into the game, etc. I thought we were poor. That's probably the poorest we've been. So we've talked a lot about that. That we need a reaction from that. And what better game to get a reaction in, really. So that's my main kind of talking points from Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of that frustration, particularly, like I say, that last half an hour, which is probably the overall taste that you get from a game in that final half an hour or so, does that add to the desire for Thursday's game?
Yeah, well, hopefully, yeah. I mean, I'm quite emotional straight after a game. I'm desperate to win. Don't let anyone down. The fans, you walk over and the fans are clapping, and you've got some that are disgruntled, which is absolutely fine. You have to take that, especially that last half an hour. So you really, really, you're hurt and disappointed, you're gutted because you've lost a game of football, and then we want to win games of football. The one thing I can't question, I think the lads have been, they work really, really hard. They don't, go out to sort of not work hard, to lack a desire or anything like that. They've been brilliant day to day. There's loads of bits where professional and personal pride has to come into it in terms of in those moments. And we've talked a lot about that in terms of our standards have to be a lot higher than that. They have to make themselves accountable. They have to make their teammate accountable for that. So it's not a lack of desire in terms of that. They just have to be accountable more for themselves and each other within those moments. And standards have to be higher. If they're not, they're unacceptable, and they kind of come out the team, so to speak. So we need a massive reaction from that, really. And we've talked a lot about that the last couple of days. And look, everyone knows how important the game is on Thursday. No one has to tell me how important it is, or a player. I'm a football fan myself. If my team's in a local derby, I'm desperate for my team to do well, and you want that kind of passion, desire, like care from players, from managers, etc., and supporters. I know supporters, are going to be massive for us on Thursday to make. Like I've said before, we've won 3 out of 4 at home, making Holker Street a fortress, making it hard for for teams to get anything from, and the supporters are massively helpful in that fact. Look, I think we need a reaction from Saturday, and it's a massive game for the football club. We know that. I think our record's not very good. People keep telling me. So regardless of that, anyway, it's a massive game for us to go and bounce back from Saturday for one. We still need points on the board, 2 and 3. Obviously, a massive derby to contend with, and we'll make sure we do everything we can to make sure we're at it on Thursday.
With the frustrations building over from Saturday's game, does it open your mind a bit more to team selection heading into Carlisle?
It certainly questions some, definitely. Obviously there's bits that I've not liked. The unfortunate bit in times is what balance is injuries. We've been a bit unlucky with a couple of 2 or 3 key injuries that affect other positions. I won't go into it too much, but so it affects how I want to play or want to play certain players in certain positions. But injuries have dictated that we can't do that. So that's been frustrating. But yeah, it's definitely opened my mind in terms of shape and just me overthinking things as well. It's been what I had earlier. It's been 5 weeks since I've been here. It feels like 5 months really, because it's been quite hectic in terms of had a lot of games in a short period of time, like 7 in just over a month, which is ridiculous, really. Kind of especially when you're straight in. There's a massive squad to kind of, or a big squad, sorry, not a massive, but big squad to kind of contend with. To be fair, we haven't had that many injuries, touch wood, but to contend with. But we've had 1 or 2 creeping in the last couple of weeks, which have affected it a little bit. So it's been quite manic in that, but I've learned a hell of a lot about myself. For one, it's a fantastic football club to be at. It's a fantastic people at the football club. So I've really enjoyed that. But I think it's now we're trying to, we've kind of seen most, if not all, in the past few weeks, what they're like day to day, what they're like in meetings. Are they engaging? Are they listening? Are they taking on information? Are they in tough moments? Are they what we want? It's in terms of roll your sleeve up and have a right go, even though things aren't going quite well. Have we got the areas? Have we got the quality in the areas that we need? These are all the questions that we've been constantly asking, looking for, and we're getting a better idea of that. Obviously, it takes time to fully stamp your things. We're doing things in training that are, I'm looking back now, we're not getting into them positions to take them forward. So maybe we have to go back a little bit to basics a little bit and play. The stats are telling us one thing, so we have to go with them. So as you can see, I overthink quite a lot. Sometimes I think you have to. And I take it home with me. I take it, I don't sleep because of it. I'm overthinking. But I think if you look at the last couple of games, especially, there's a lot of things there that, sort of come right at you in terms of we have to go back to basics a little bit. We have to be harder to beat, because the details the small margins within games, like Saturday, you could be 2-0 up, you end up being 2-0 down. So it's really small margins within games at the minute, and how do we we're not going to get it all the time, but the majority of the time, how can we have them like sort of fine margins go in our favour? So they're the things that we've tried to nail down the last couple of days, and I think you will see a team on Thursday that will give absolutely everything. I'm not saying that they haven't before, but they'll give absolutely everything in the positions that we can go and affect the game, go and win a game of football, and that's what that's what I've constantly thought about since Saturday. You want that game to come right. When you lose a game, you want that game the next day to put things right. So yeah, itching and excited now for the game Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, with it being a derby game, the emotions are obviously high. It's going to be loud. Do you almost want to play into that, or do you want to be the opposite and keep the focus on just the game itself?
Yeah, like I think you can play it both ways, can't you? You want, me as a like when I was a player, I wanted to play in these games. These games should excite you more than I'm nervous if you, in case a mistake or you lose games. You should be excited about playing these sort of games, these occasions. And I think we've got a team who are really looking forward to the game. As I've reiterated before, we've not got a great record, so that's something to to try and change if we can. But I think we've just got to worry about ourselves and how we can get a better version of ourselves on Saturday. Don't get me wrong, there's some really good bits in there. We're creating chances away from home. We're creating chances, which we haven't been. We've got to be better in certain areas defensively. We need to be more aggressive in certain areas. For me, these games are exciting. Everyone wants to be involved in them games. You talk about just playing our own game and don't let the emotions get hold of you. But sometimes, you want to see fire. You want to see a bit of heart. You want to see people running more than they would have run before. Because I know these occasions are completely different to, no disrespect, your run-of-the-mill kind of games on a Saturday or Tuesday. So you want to see a bit of both. Obviously, composure. You want to see our structure, our shape as a team, and we're controlling that aspect of the game. But then you want to see heart, desire. You want to see fight, and I know the fans want to see that. And ultimately, that gets you to winning games of football.
Thank you.
No worries, mate.